Hello, it's nice to meet you, my fellow trailblazers, and welcome to the Astral Express. My name's Bunny, and it's a pleasure to be your guide. Today's journey will be all about your favorite character, Firefly. Okay, maybe our favorite character. From what I've heard, what will come up might be specific details that are sure to be mysterious. Before I start, I'd like to suggest anyone who hasn't the slightest thought of being spoiled to come back and watch this video after completing the entire main questline for Penacony. Otherwise, feel free to sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, and allow me to entertain you with an adventure. The Welkin Empire of Glamoth enjoyed a vast territory spanning tens of thousands of light years. Ambitiously setting its sight on the cosmos, at the height of the Empire's power, Her Majesty Empress Titania built a magnificent fleet, vowing to bring the fruits of civilization to all the barbaric borders, allowing them a taste of the Empire's benevolence in hopes of uniting them under one rule. However, the expedition was eventually halted by endless waves of raging insectoids coming from beyond the sky. Glamoth's armies fought and failed again and again. Colonies were scattered, and the proud Iron Fleet fell one after another. Besieged by the monsters with compound eyes and sheathed wings, the cries of the people of Glamoth were drowned out by despair, and the Welkin Empire was shattered from then on. Until one day, knights clad in mechanical armor descended from the sky and wiped out the sun-swallowing swarm. Since then, the silver-white Iron Knights have traveled to and from the various star systems in the Empire, crossing the devastated territories and fighting back against the calamity that wiped out the galaxy. They were like warriors born to fight the swarm. No one knew the faces lying beneath the mask of the Iron Cavalry, but their arrival was like a gift from the gods, bringing the light of day back to the human world. Under the Empress's command, Glamoth's Iron Cavalry charged across the skies, finally stemming the tide of enemies and bringing a moment of respite to the Empire. But in the never-ending battle against their arch-enemy, the Empire started becoming more and more like its adversary. More and more Iron Cavalry flew high into the sky, blotting out the heavens just as the swarm did on that fateful day. The look people cast on the Empress and the cavalry turned to one of fear, a fear akin to what they felt towards the swarm. Perhaps one day the Empire would attain the victory it so desired, but on that day, will Glamoth still be a paradise for humanity to rest in? The Iron Cavalry Regiment formed the last line of defense at the border of Glamoth, where the battle raged on endlessly. Upon their warships, the Silent Knights bore a mission, carrying the hopes of the entire Empire, and faced the tides of enemies drowning out the stars. Ever since then, historians of the Intelligentsia Guild believed that the Republic of Glamoth was destroyed by the Scourge of the Swarm. Another view claims that the Republic of Glamoth was destroyed by how it completely overshot its powerful enemy. In order to turn the tide in the horrific invasion of the Swarm, the ruling council threw down the gauntlet and resolved to alter the essence of humanity in an effort to adapt to the war. They will create a weapon born to fight. The result of all this was Titania, the Empress who holds no power, telepathically commands and controls the knights connected to her. In the dreams that these warriors are woven into, the sole meaning of their existence is to guard Titania and her empire in their short lives. They studied, fought, received the Empress's commands, faced the enemy fearlessly, and died with honor. No one knew when this falsehood was revealed. Was it from the day when the old humans in Glamoth's territories fell below a certain percentage? Was it the day when scientists realized that the Empress was beginning to revolt against her captivity? Or maybe the day when the swarm's onslaught dissipated into thin air? All the people knew was that the Iron Cavalry gave their all for their non-existent empire. After decades of bloody battles, the remains of mechas and insect limbs turned into dense debris, strewn throughout Glamoth's star system, connecting with each other to form a river of death. When the remnants of the swarm no longer posed a threat, and the leaders of the council rang the bell of peace, informing the citizens that they had dispelled the apocalypse that clouded the heavens, and the Republic would be ushered back into the light of day. What arrived was not daylight, but the beginning of another sunless night. After that, the civilization known as Glamoth faded away, and the long-awaited peace came to the empty stars. The long river of stardust and debris flows silently along the void. Now, why would I mention this bit of lore without giving a proper explanation? First of all, I'll gladly point out the fact that I believe Honkai Star Rails 2.0 update regarding the dreamscape wonderland that is Penacony has an exciting reference to another amazing piece of work which delves into fairy tales and limitless imagination. What on earth could I be talking about, you ask? Well, have you ever heard of A Midsummer Night's Dream? Sounds awfully familiar, doesn't it? Truth be told, I also couldn't believe my eyes when I found out that Titania just so happens to be a character in William Shakespeare's 1595 to 1596 play. Furthermore, Firefly's character design and model kinda resemble a fairy, doesn't it? Especially with her vibrant color scheme and innocent appearance. Wait a moment, what's this? You're telling me that our current version is titled If One Dreams at Midnight? That's some keen eyesight you've got there, my friend. I'm assuming you now know where I'm going with our current flow. Nonetheless, I still have quite a selection of topics which reinforce my statement about Firefly being Titania. Interestingly, a key indicator on why this theory is most plausible is due to the fact that Firefly was not able to see Clocky. Prior to reaching her secret hideout, the Trailblazer hears cries for help, and we stumble upon Penacony's most famous mascot, Clocky. However, to others, he seemed to be invisible and could not be detected through normal means. It is important to mention that Clocky is only visible to those with the innocence, kindness, and honesty of a child. To which Firefly comments with, but I think you look older than me in terms of appearance. At this point, we are told to follow him and save Misha and Acheron. Reminiscing about the next topic I'm going to talk about always makes me emotional, so I'll try my best to explain and narrate without shedding a tear here or there. Reaching the rooftop of the Dream's Edge, we begin to hear the music. If I could stop one heart from breaking, and Firefly leads us to a balcony where we have an aesthetically picturesque view of the horizon and the city. She begins to have a heart-to-heart moment with the Trailblazer, and proceeds to tell us information about her hometown. Essentially, she does indeed mention it could have been the doing of the Legion or the Swarm, which clearly resembles the Empire of Glamoth's ruination. Afterwards, she mentions entropy loss syndrome. It is a strange medical condition which affects those suffering from it with an irreversible, chronic dissociation of their physical structure. Meaning, they slowly fade away, and the process is barely noticeable to others. I believe she's suffering from this specific situation due to her countless never-ending battles against the Swarm, which waged on for God knows how many years. This thought process is further strengthened by the sentence, I can actually free myself from this icy medical cabin in this dream. I can forget about all the doctor's advice. I can listen and see and touch and think and understand whatever I want with my body. So, although this world isn't real, this experience is priceless. just like this moment. In my opinion, Firefly truly does look up to the Trailblazers, and the adventurous tales of bravery they have done to save countless others along the way. Which is why she admires you a lot and will cherish this memory forever in her heart. Afterwards, she mentions that there are certain things she cannot reveal to you yet, but there are also things you should know. One we really need to take into account is the fact that she's looking for the Watchmaker's legacy. At this point, Firefly mentions her dream about a scorched earth and a new sapling emerging from it. It bloomed against the morning sun and whispered onto her. Out of speculation, I believe that the new sapling she refers to in this statement is Elio, the leader of the Stellaron Hunters. I firmly think so because in this explanation, the morning sun could refer to her cavalry of silver-white knights, which blazed the skies blotting out the sun. Finally, a promise that she could be free from the situation where she is bedridden and unable to be herself. Surprisingly, Firefly's story fits the narrative of the song White Knight and If I Could Stop One Heart from Breaking. White Knight is a play on words for the silver-white mecha knights she commanded back in the Empire when she was known as Titania. Additionally, when Firefly mentions, "You see, everything is possible in this land of dreams. The nightmarish past will disperse and fade away like bubbles in water, and the future that you don't want to face will never come." This correlates to the song lyrics, "No past and no future, that's what I need." It's a perfect description of how the Glamoth Empire suffered, struggled, and sacrificed so much in the past when facing the relentless swarm. Alternatively, the future she speaks about, which will never come into fruition, is not being able to be who she truly is, back in the real world. Firefly yearns for freedom and the ability to become her own person so much that she didn't have the chance to do so as she was preoccupied with protecting the people, which her sole duty was for. Secretly, deep down inside, I believe the lyrics for the song, "If I Can Stop One Heart from Breaking," are actually both meaningful to Firefly and Robin. Birds are born with no shackles, then what fetters my fate? Blown away the white petals, leave me trapped in the cage. The bird in this sentence symbolizes Firefly's creation into the world. Ideally, when a child is born, it is innocent, joyful. Similar to white petals, it is an untainted and blissful moment. However, for Titania, her fate was to serve the Empire and protect their people from a ruthless demise under the swarm's devastation. Hence the feeling of binding her down and stuck in a cage. I would love to talk more about the songs and how they beautifully conveyed her emotions. But we can make a video in regards to that for the future. Moving on to a different point. Her death scene where Firefly says sorry and doesn't put up a fight against the meme of death. Fun fact, its name is something onto death. However, if you read the first letters on every word, it spells out Sud. In our world, Suds are commonly known as froth from soap and water, kind of like the water we sleep in and the bubbles which appear in our minds prior to entering the dreamscape. Although, that is a story for another day. Going back into subject, as someone who's searching for the Watchkeeper's legacy, this is quite odd, considering Acheron also mentions not saving her if only she drew her blade. This could lead to assumptions where Acheron, Black Swan, and Firefly are actually working in tandem, which supports the idea of Firefly's confession back on the rooftop. She needed this moment to be perfectly aligned to the script which Elio planned for the Stellaron hunters to follow. In conclusion, when we find traces of Sam annihilating every room filled with mobs, we are originally warned that Firefly is in grave danger. However, the two seem to be following a narrative which causes the Trailblazer to believe her situation was the cause of the silver-white Mecha Knight chasing her. However, she is then betrayed by her quote-unquote companion, which Acheron and Black Swan do not mention whatsoever. Alternatively, when she mentions the name Mecha, they don't even seem to correlate the fact that it could possibly be the silver-armored knight. At this point, the emotional turmoil boils even further inside the Trailblazer, which leads to our fight with Stellaron Hunter Sam. Having the Trailblazer feel emotional pain, sorrow, anger, and all these other feelings could be due to the fact that Elio's script requires the Trailblazer to harness a specific emotion in order to obtain the Watchkeeper's legacy. We should also remember that Firefly, Robin, and the Trailblazer have a strong connection to Memoria. I firmly believe so, as our spirit, fervor, and sensations play a key role in the Land of Dreams. But what does that mean for the future of all of us, and most importantly, you? Now, would you look at the time? I believe we've approached our destination for today. Going through all the information we've looked into seemed quite enjoyable, I hope. If so, I am wholeheartedly glad. Next time, I will tell you all about my perspective of the entrance to Penacony's storyline, as well as my thoughts on who Acheron truly is. Once again, it has been an extremely pleasurable time spent with you all, and we'll continue our tales of knowledge once more soon. Thank you, and may your day be blessed with good precious memories.